Well, it's Spider-Man Day, and like I told you, it's going to be a big day for Spider News, and we got a huge confirmation. I mean, a giant green confirmation for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about what Hollywood Reporter just dropped, what it means for the movie, and a potential classic face-off in the MCU. Well, it's pretty much not any news to anybody if you've been following this channel that we've been hearing about a lot of characters potentially appearing in Spider-Man Brand New Day. But earlier today, we got a double green update for the upcoming movie. And it turns out rumors of both the Hulk and the Scorpion are indeed true. But let's set up the timeline. Now, shortly after we recorded our first update for Spider-Man Day, we got a little bit of a toy leak that seemed to confirm that the Hulk was indeed in the movie and would be part of one of the action figure lines coming out in the next year. Now, for Brand New Day, 3 figures were confirmed: Spider-Man, the Punisher, and the Hulk. But I did notice none of the villains were on this list, and it does make me wonder if some cards are still being played close to the chest. We talked about in our last video how the Inner Demons were kind of being teased with that armor personnel carrier, so you might want to go check that out because I expect this action figure line to expand itself quite a bit. Now, shortly after that, the Hollywood Reporter did chime in, and what they confirmed is that yes, indeed, Mark Ruffalo, who obviously plays the Incredible Hulk, along with Michael Mando, who, if you remember, played Mac Gargan in Spider-Man Homecoming before he went to jail, will both reprise their roles in the upcoming film. Now, we've been hearing this rumor of the Incredible Hulk for a really long time, and this is the first official trade level confirmation of him returning in this picture. Now, what happens with the Hulk? Well, we really don't know. But if you remember correctly, Mark Ruffalo does not know who Spider-Man is, and he will basically be a new face to everyone, including all the other heroes of the MCU. Now, we have heard there's going to be some throwdowns between Spider-Man, the Punisher, and the Hulk, and this might actually be a 3-way battle. Spider-Man has had some classic face-offs with the Hulk in the past in the comics, and honestly, as a kid, was one of my favorite hero versus hero fights. Now, what version of the Hulk ends up coming out of this movie, I guess that's the huge question. Because we have been hearing rumors for a while that more savage version of the Hulk would be returning. And who knows, that could be what finally rears its ugly head in this upcoming film. Now, as for Mac Gargan, well, if you're a fan of the comics, you know who the Scorpion is. And you know he is not a pushover in the Marvel Universe. The big questions become, how does he become the Scorpion? And this might actually happen off-screen. If you've noticed, there's a lot of villains apparently coming to life in this film. And I think some of them, maybe even the Scorpion, might not have that big of a role. I do expect the Scorpion to fully suit up in this film. And actually, he's pretty murderous, so he might be part of that convoy we covered in the other video, and could be the target of Frank Castle's Punisher. Despite how bad many of his baddies are, Peter Parker is not a murderer or a killer. He avoids it at all costs, and he may actually step in to protect the Scorpion from the Punisher, putting them at odds and setting up somewhat of a pretty neat interaction. Now, this is obviously speculation on our part, but with all these characters coming to life in this film, I don't suspect Gargan to be much more than a henchman and might not serve that big of a part in the film, but I don't think Marvel's going to miss the opportunity to suit him up as the Scorpion and us be able to see him throw down with Spider-Man. He's very likely going to be part of the opening scene setting up the movie. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a montage of Spider-Man taking on villains to kick this one off, and that'll set up the whole story, maybe this convoy segment that's supposed to be one of the biggest action sequences Marvel has ever done, and even where the Hulk might ultimately show up. Can you imagine if Mac Gargan, the Tarantula, Boomerang, and several other villains were all part of this convoy? They all break loose on the streets of New York, and the Hulk, the Punisher, and Spider-Man have to take them all down in a massive Marvel throwdown. In any case, it's a huge deal that these two characters are indeed coming back. I am really, really happy to hear Mark Ruffalo is returning as the Hulk, and finally getting to see him and Spider-Man team up or face off on the big screen will definitely be historic. What that actually looks like, well, we're gonna have to wait and see. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.